As I was sitting here and thinking of hearing everything you're saying, Vanessa, I saw Jason walk in and I said, Jason is going to want to know how all of this information that you're gathering and you're storing, how is it going to impact his cost of electricity in terms of his production? The client, the entrepreneur is very practical normally in their outlook. And they want to know the information that Katalyxt is offering, that you are offering, how can it translate to my bottom line? And I just like to put it and for discussion, not just for you, Vanessa, you know, Bruce. How is it that all of what we're saying is going to hit the bottom line of an SME, a person who is growing a business? Because that's what they're keyed into. They want to know this.
Well, I think one simple example is fraud risk. So I have a client, or had, sorry. So this is a client where you could go, you pay money, you get a receipt, the information is stored on the system. But one of the issues was that they did not realize that the cashiers had the ability to cancel a receipt. So they collected the money, canceled the receipt, pocketed it, and put back a new receipt for the difference, right, for the amount that they decided to leave behind. Now, clearly the information was not full of integrity and the confidentiality was breached. What happened there was that people were sharing their passwords. And these are, in our business, we would say these are not expensive controls. When you're going to put in a procedure, you need to look at what we call the cost of the control. So if you're going to invest something to prevent something else from happening, if it's $10 million to save $2 million, it doesn't make sense. So lots of the things that we can do to increase the quality of the information that we use to make decisions, they're not expensive, but the returns are huge. Now, this particular entity lost about, I think about $3-4 million cash. But they also, that's the raw cash from the exposure of the fraud. But they also had to pay a firm to come in and quantify and to help them to close the loopholes, right? So in terms of the bottom line, there's fraud risk and of course the reputational risk, the disruption in the business that resulted from meetings and investigations and dealing with the police, and last but not least, the impact or the moral or the motivation levels rather of the staff. I mean, whenever fraud takes place in a company, it's a very low time. You see people crying and they're ushered, you know, it's yes, just because the information was not properly, well, you could argue if it's because the information was not properly secured or because somebody decided to be greedy. You could argue it either way, but it is said, do not rely on the good nature of men. We need to put good policies and procedures in place to restrain that inbred carnal, any theologians in the place? I'm going to stop right there.
And Vanessa?
Yes, CEIS, as I was saying, we have business information directly relating to helping businesses with their energy management in their companies. So we have energy management toolkits on CBIP. CBIP is the environmental and business information platform, and that information platform will hold things that you can generally do. You just follow the toolkit and you can walk through and implement those things in your business that can help you right then and there without you having to call in an auditor, an energy auditor or somebody.
But I could just think of some of my clients and say, but I can't bother go on this side. And I'd prefer if someone visit me and fix my thing. Do you have any?
Yes, we have experts in our database that we can refer you refer you to.
Right.
Yes.
So this is a practical step, because if it is that there are some persons who will go online and will follow the steps, and there are other clients who will say, oh, I don't have no time for that. So it is that we can just imagine that you would be able to say to them that, okay, I have a team of experts that we can recommend, and this is basically what you're able to do. So we are happy that we see the transition just from the I call it the academic standpoint, where it is everything is theory, and we can see how it translates to the bottom line of of the entrepreneur. And I believe me, that's what they're interested in.
Just a quick follow-up point. One of the things that we've noticed is that when companies are selecting software applications to drive their key business processes, a lot of the times the questions are not asked about how good the security within the application is. We have seen complex investment management systems where you only need a one-character password to log onto the system. And these are some basic questions that should be asked early before you lock in. And it's part of the whole information management. And lastly, SMEs tend to invest in programmers who might be a one person, and this is not to bash smaller companies, but the truth is, if you're getting an application that's developed by a relatively small shop, where it could be one principal with a lot of the knowledge, a key thing that you have to do to ensure that information is available is to try and get the source codes in some kind of escrow that would allow you access to it in the event of something happening to the programmer, and also to have the technical documentation of the system right there, just in case you need somebody else to continue with the maintenance. You don't really think about these things a lot until you have a real issue, especially surrounding that program that drives the key areas of your business. Yeah?
Thank you, Bruce.